So let's get into Tasha K dragging Brian McKnight because listen, the man is heartless and hypocritical. He was celebrating a lawsuit victory against his ex wife on what would have been his late son's birthday. And to make matters worse, she's insinuating that he's been low key trying to threaten and silence her platform for allowing his ex-wife to have a space to speak what she has gone through, which she didn't even share everything, and share her story. So let's unpack what's really going on here, the morality that's lost, the social media side of all of it, and the humanity that he definitely has had extinguished by whatever happened to him over all of these years, because this is just disgraceful. So let's get into it. What's up? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit that like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into this beautifully honest reaction.
Talk to me nice, talk to me honestly. Look in my eyes, don't let it fall on me. Say you're a good guy, make me believe it. Don't wanna hear it, I wanna see it. See how rewind when we rewind. Feel so.
All right, guys. So if you've been following anything when it comes to Brian McKnight over the last several years, you've seen the things that has been exposed about him, how he has pretty much disowned his children, how dirty he did his ex-wife, and all for the sake of not having his firstborn junior be an actual junior. He had his last name changed so that the son that he had with his current wife would actually be a junior. You have to really be sick in the head to do some stuff like that. And we really seem to be living in a day and age right now where the cruel and inhumane seem to be winning because allegedly he won a defamation lawsuit against his ex wife because she didn't show up. So it was pretty much a default judgment. Now, while I believe she could get that forfeited, I'm not a legal expert and I'm not even her legal representation, but I'm hopeful that she will get that overturned. But in the meantime, Tasha K, she didn't waste any time sharing the information and exposing him. And for what she is insinuating that he low key was trying to threaten her platform as well. But not only that, his son came out to blast him for what he did, celebrating this so called legal victory on the day that his brother would have turned a year older, who is no longer existing. So we're living in an age right now where you have someone who's cruel and inhumane, who is supposedly the president of the United States, winning. And then you have someone like this crap, Brian McKnight, who disgusts me because when I tell you, for me, it isn't that deep when it comes to music. And I won't allow the behavior of someone to diminish my memories. But one of his songs was a song that we used in my wedding that I walked down the aisle to. When I heard his actions, I mean, no, I'm not sitting there playing the music over and over again, but I'm not going to allow his behavior to diminish my memories because it was just a song. A lot of these people are pieces of you know what. We don't know them personally, so I would never get that deeply involved with a piece of art or music or whatever because the person who sang the song or maybe even wrote it and sang it turns out to be a total piece of S. So, with that being said, Tasha K, she took to her platform this past week and she exposed some things and definitely showcased his lack of empathy and celebrating this lawsuit, so called victory. But again, it was a default judgment because she didn't show up for whatever reason. I do not know. But If you didn't know, Tasha K did interview his ex-wife on her Tasha K Live platform, and I believe the interview was eventually released on YouTube. Again, she gave someone the platform to speak whatever they chose to speak about, and even in that interview, she didn't reveal everything, but she also did write a book. So for him to sue this woman and then try to low-key say, for those that gave her a voice and gave her a platform, who the hell do you think you are? It's just your actions speak a whole lot more about you than these people ever really could, and anything that they share would just be icing on the cake. You cannot get upset with the actions that you're taking and people judging them to come to an assumption or realization about you as to why people don't want to buy your tickets, and now you have to tour in whatever spaces your current wife is from, and and the likes of those people, because the people that you initially had the hearts and the ears of don't see it for you and don't want to hear from you anymore. So with that being said, we're going to get into what Tasha K had to say about this clown and this creep. So let's just go ahead and get into this.
Brian McKnight. I'm doing like Jaguar right now. So last night in the wee hours of the night, Brian McKnight went live in the dark on a farm with a cigar. Okay, gloating about winning a lawsuit against his ex-wife, Julie McKnight, whom we interviewed, okay, about a book that I guess, was upset about. I didn't see why he was upset about the book because she said she really didn't mention him, okay? But, it's been quite the family affair on social media with the sons and, Brian and him, to me, seeming like he's dissing his own kids for no reason at all. And then they're having to come on social media and defend themselves. Julie has actually been quite quiet, so she decided to just monetize it and put it in a book. We did interview her. I believe that interview that is called Mama Bear. Please pick it up on Amazon. And I'm sure after this whole story goes viral, we get it going. I'm sure her book sales will see an increase because he's obviously pissed about this book, I guess allegedly, because I haven't read it. I just interviewed her. So y'all got to tell me what it's about. Painting him as an absent father, or somehow that he abandoned his kids. And I do want to state, Julie, I'm sorry that I have to do this. Because he did go live, and I hate to, aid in someone's grief because, their son died on this day, actually yesterday, last year on this day, and he decided to go live to gloat about winning a lawsuit against his ex-wife, a lawsuit that no one knew about, not even me. And I'm gonna tell you more about why we don't know about it after you watch this video. Watch this punk ass. I don't give a damn what he got to say. Sue me for calling you a punk. Let's go.
It's been a long journey getting to this day, October 16th, 2025, but we are here in the English countryside, about an hour and a half outside of London, and the verdict is in. We've been quiet, listening to liars continue to lie and keeping to ourselves, living and loving our life, as we said, leaving everything in God's hands and letting our lawyer do the talking. But according to the courts, trying to ruin my name and trying to bring harm to my family in a book filled with lies.
Ruin his name. First of all, he's ruined his own name. I really hope and pray that this woman gets this so-called judgment overturned, this default judgment. I really hope she does, because to sit and gloat about this, and he knew what he was doing, because for him to say the actual date, he did that on purpose. He is so disgusting. And let's continue.
Equals $8.8 million. And this is just the beginning, because anyone and everyone that helped promote these lies will hear from my lawyer in the days to come. No weapon formed against us shall prosper. Now, from my voicemail is the voice of a liar.
Do not text Nico again. Do not call Nico again. Leilani, if you are also checking these messages, that goes for you as well. I am very serious about this. I am very serious about this. Do not text him, period. Period. Please understand that. And Brian, you know me. You know me. And you know that I mean what I'm saying to you.
That really rubbed me the wrong way because, and I want to correct some information that I just put out. He didn't post it on the day that the son died. He posted it on the deceased son's birthday. And so this was a jab at the mom. And so this lawsuit where he claims that he won $8.8 million and the verdict is in, and he's excited. He's in London in the countryside, and, no weapon formed to me shall prosper, because, they hit his pockets. I ain't gonna lie. He was losing gigs in the US, but having to post in the UK and other places like that. He's still singing the same damn songs. Y'all gotta watch that interview with Miss Julie, because it was messy. And I like that she was real about herself too. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just all about him or all about the kids. It was about her life as well too. And I do appreciate that. If we have to rerun it as a throwback, we can. But it is a very, very interesting interview, and I felt like she was fair. I felt like she wasn't trying to bash him at all. Now, I don't know what goes on behind the scenes, and obviously that recording is out of context, because to me it sounds like she's saying stop calling, because if you would have saw, and I don't know if y'all remember the way he was coming at his kids and naming the kids that he has now with the Asian wife, the same names as he already named his kids with her, as if he's trying to erase history. And she came on the show to explain to us what happened and why the kids don't f- with him and why he's upset. It's really petty. It's nothing I feel that warrants social media slander or anything like that. It just felt like some, you know, deadbeat daddy problems, I guess. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But here's the thing. So he obviously pissed the boys off, and we've reached out to the boys, Brian McKnight Jr., for an interview. And, you know, he says decline because he was like, I just don't want to be a part of what my parents got going on. But he is so pissed at Brian uploading this video, and Brian cut the comments off on that video.
Of course.
He cut the comments off on that video on his page. Because he could not take y'all dragging his ass. He could not take it.
And that's the thing. It's like you put this shit out here, but then you turn your comments off. You clearly want people to know how you feel, but you don't want to know how other people feel. Just like he wants to silence his ex-wife. He sued her because she wanted to share her story. And she really, again, like Tasha even confirmed, I said, she really didn't say a whole lot. She actually was extremely careful. I haven't read the book, so I don't know what all is in the book, but I can guarantee you he didn't read it either, nor did he have anyone read it and come back to him to share information to say, oh my God, she said this about you and she said that about you. You need to go after her because she defamed your character. He has no character to defame. So we know the justice system is extremely unfair. So just because he got a default judgment doesn't mean that it's going to stand. And even if it sticks, it doesn't mean he's going to get any money. Neither does he even need it from her. It's all to punish. It's all to humiliate. So for him to put that out there, but then you want to turn the comments off, you don't want to hear what anyone else has to say, but you don't want her to share her story either. Well, don't just live your life happily like you said you were living it, because I'm quite sure even though he has lost gigs and opportunities, that had nothing to do with his ex-wife. It was all because of his own actions. And what he chose to put out there, letting people know that he told his entire previous family to go to hell, and now I'm living a brand new life. I've been reborn, and those children were born in sin. So now first of all, you definitely ain't no saint right now. But I'm just saying, those are the things that he said and put out there and gave people the opportunity to judge based on what they saw, to say, you know what, to hell with him too. And we don't want to support anything that he has going on anymore. So that was his doing. It wasn't his ex-wife's doing. So she didn't stop any of his gigs. He did.
I don't think he understands who his audience is. Like the same woman you dragging, the same woman you're trying to replace in the people's eyes, these are the same women that buy your records, that come to your concerts. You don't get to do that and just replace that woman with another woman and then slander her in the process. No, you don't get to do that. So I can see why y'all was dragging him. Why you guys are canceling shows and not buying tickets and stuff like that. Like, but for the son to have to jump in it, hear what he got to say. I like how he taking up for his mama.
I've tried, man. I've tried really, really hard to not touch on it, to let it go, to be the bigger person, to be mature, to be something. But the shit going on with my dad right now, man. If y'all aren't seeing what's happening, if y'all aren't seeing the fact that this is just a very hurt and a very emotionally unavailable and not intelligent person, the person that is still have not been able to handle the death of his own mother.
Damn.
The things that we're seeing him go through right now, to decide to make certain posts on my late brother's birthday. Say what you want, dog, but the gloves are off for me, just to keep it real. And and the thing about it is, it's like, I get it, man. You know, our parents, they're humans too.
And I'm not even somebody that advocates for violence, but every now and then you just have a feeling that, yeah, that person just needs somebody to just beat their ass. Like, just have him tied down and just have the brakes beaten off him. Like in The Color Purple, when Celie said, my kids, we gonna sit around and whoop your ass. When she said that to Mister, remember that? It's just like you would just love for an opportunity where there's some people like him, like 45/47, where they could just be held down and people just get the opportunity to get their licks in and beat their ass. They don't get to swing back. They don't get to spit. They don't get to push, kick, nothing. Just get their ass beaten. Not get their life taken, but just get their ass beat. That's what Brian McKnight deserves. But let's continue.
They've gone through things too. Whatever the grievances they have against each other, whatever. My issue is, though, man, you don't want me to start talking about the things that I had to deal with in my childhood, the things that I will take to my grave, the things that my brother took to his grave that we could put out there, the things that we could say as a son, as a teenager, as a 15-year-old that my brother was when we started touring, the things that we went through together, the things that we actually saw, the things that we actually lived with and dealt with because our dad wasn't emotionally intelligent enough nor mature enough to actually be a father.
Oh my God. Tasha's making me dizzy spinning around in that chair and drinking wine. But I would love it if at some point, and I'm quite sure it will have to be something that he would want to do at a time he's willing to do it, where he would be able to just tell his story about what he went through with that monster. I can only imagine the stuff that they have experienced and endured.
You don't want that. And without even getting too deep, man, it's like to do it on my brother's late birthday, my baby brother's heavenly birthday, his first heavenly birthday. This is the post you decide to make. That's not petty. You don't think people are going to realize that that's ridiculous and that it's obviously strategic? Who are you trying to hurt if it's not me and my mother and our family? Who are you trying to hurt? Who are you trying to hurt, man? Which has always been my issue. Which is why way back when that started all this, I made the post that I made because I knew that this was the only thing that would get you, man. Maybe that was my fault. I've taken accountability for it. But it's become obviously clear, and maybe not even just me, and I'm hoping to the masses that we're dealing with someone that has unchecked trauma.
And he doesn't need to take accountability for anything, in my opinion, because he was the child, right? Even if he is an adult at this point, he's still the child in that situation. And if he had an emotional break and decided to share some stuff and put it out there on social media, it's his life. You can't tell somebody who's hurt how to react. You could give suggestions or say, well, if I were you or if I were him, I mean, everybody can say what they wouldn't do or what they would do. But until you go through it, you don't really know what you're going to do. And the fact that that's all he did and not whooped his daddy's ass, I don't have any issues with it. But anyway,
They're not dealing with. And to everybody else, man, you know, use us as an example for the fact that it's like, don't believe everything you see in the media either. There are multiple sides of the story. There are multiple sides of it. You know what I mean? Because you love this nigga's music, because you think you know this motherfucker, you don't. I do.
exactly. And like I said, I may have used his music in my wedding years ago, but I would never sit here and cape for that nigga. I don't know him at all. So absolutely not. We don't know these people. We don't know him. And it's a shame when people do that. But that's not even just in the Brian McKnight situation. I've talked about that over and over again when it comes to idol culture. People, because they feel like they like this person's acting or their comedy or their music or whatever, because something comes out about this person that's unfavorable, then you're like, no slander tolerated. I'm not hearing it. I don't believe that person. Look, you have the right to believe and not believe, but just because you feel that way doesn't mean that the people that are coming out saying that things that this person has done that's been terrible that you like, or you like what they've done, doesn't mean that that other person is lying. But let's continue.
My mama does. My dead bro, God rest his fucking soul, knows him. Who you gonna believe, man? Shit's stupid. It's petty. I hate it. I hate talking about it. I hate being a part of it. It's such a shame. We watched the Jonas Brothers and their families touring the world together. Should have been us. The problem was, my dad didn't want to do it. He just wanted to fuck bitches. So in closing, man, just to keep it real. This is the last. So in closing, man, just to keep it real. This isn't the last time I'm going to talk about this, because I've realized that maybe it's time for me to start talking about this kind of stuff. Maybe it's time for me to start not airing shit out, but being vulnerable enough and open enough as someone that has lived an insane life. Yeah. I'm going to start talking about these things, man. It's unfortunate that we're going through this with my father. It's unfortunate that y'all are watching my father and my mother duke it out publicly. But what I can assure you is, though, the truth will be revealed. You'll feel it. You'll know it to be true. If you actually have a heart, if you actually have a soul, and you at the very least try, you'll see the truth.
You don't mess with boys you don't mess with boys' mamas. Let me be fucking up Shaq. If he even see my husband, if he see his daddy kiss me on the cheek, he be like, hey, what you doing? Julie ain't got to worry about it. I love how Julie just ignored it. You know, like she's been ignoring it. Julie didn't even want to talk to me until her book was done. She was like, I want this done in a tasteful way. I don't want to come out responding to him because that's what he wants. He wants a reaction. You know, he wants to be seen as like this good guy. He hates how he's a narcissist. He wants the narrative to be, and in his favor. And I felt like, I don't know, when he made that video in the car, I felt like he was throwing shots at me. For anybody that published these lies in the book, I helped promote it, my lawyers is coming after you for what?
Right.
Brother, you still ain't found Jaguar right. The last I checked, you asked the court to put a ad in the paper to let Jaguar Wright know, because you cannot serve her because she's homeless, man. Like, we could have told you that.
And I'm going to stop it right there. I will put the full video link in the description box, guys. It's just a mess. So listen, guys, for me, and I know for a lot of people, Brian McKnight is a disgrace. He is a prime example of ego replacing empathy. And like his son said, you just wanted to FBs. Like, you just wanted to screw around. You did not want to be a dedicated family man. And just because he didn't want to be a dedicated family man, meaning being a husband, doesn't mean that he couldn't have continued to be a father to his children. His narcissism and ego just was so exponential. And no amount of living this fabulous life that he claims that he's living, and the vacations on the English countryside or whatever the hell he said he was at, can fix a dead conscience. He is morally bankrupt. Okay? And his reputation, it's solidified because of the things that he did, not because of an interview that his ex-wife did or a book that she wrote. She really, in my personal opinion, in that interview went easy on him. As many people that come out now dragging their famous celebrity, whatever they are, whether it's a sibling or an ex, whether it was marriage or just relationship, she went easy on him. And she didn't have to, especially just knowing the things that most people already know that's already been put out there. But this is who he is, His daughter had to sue him. She won a judgment against him because she got some things insinuated about her by her own dad. He's disgusting. So I want to know what you guys think about him suing his ex-wife, this default judgment. Do you think that the ex-wife is going to get this overturned? And do you really believe that he has the balls to come after Tasha K just because she allowed his ex-wife to have a place to share her story? And she really went easy on him. It's just getting ridiculous at this point where everybody wants to sue everybody for anything. And yeah, you literally can sue anyone for anything, but it doesn't mean that you actually have a case. But unfortunately, his ex-wife is learning now that if you don't respond, what happens is a default judgment. Now, she could get it overturned. I'm hopeful that she will work towards doing that because he doesn't deserve a dime and he doesn't even deserve any more attention. So I want to know what you guys think about all of this. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.